Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the series of Nimai's adventures. Today, we will be reading chapter 19. Nimai accepts the sacred thread. As Mali wandered on his journey, he found himself trekking up a big hill. His little legs grew tired from the steep walk, and he decided to sit down to take a break. The little mouse closed his eyes and soaked in the warm summer sun. He suddenly felt a whisker brush on his back fur, and he opened his eyes to see a fluffy white rabbit with big blue eyes peering down on him. The rabbit was munching on something and looked curiously at Mali as he loudly did so. "Haribol, my name is Rabri. Who are you?" he asked Mali, in between big chomps out of his carrots. He had a carrot in each hand and wasted no time eating from both of them. Mali sat up and introduced himself. "Oh, my name is Mali, and I'm here to hear about little Nimai. By chance, would you know any pastimes about him?" "Of course. Let me finish my carrots and I will tell you something." Rabri chomped on his carrots as Mali waited for him to finish. After taking his last bite, Rabri cleaned his furry hands and sat down next to Mali to begin his narration. Little Nimai passed his childhood in great happiness. He played every game a little boy could think of and passed his days having lots of fun. Nimai had disguised himself so well that nobody had discovered his true identity as Lord Krishna. Finally, the time came for Nimai to receive his sacred Brahmin thread. Jagannath Mishra invited all of his friends and their families for his son's sacred thread ceremony and ensured they were well taken care of. All of Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi's friends were very excited about the ceremony and offered to help in many ways. The house was a sight to see, filled with bright colors, celebration, and happiness. The sounds of drums and flutes filled the air, accompanying the beautiful songs of Lord Krishna sung by the village ladies. Many brahmanas chanted prayers in deep voices, and the small children played and giggled amongst themselves. Nimai's house was flooded with happiness, laughter, and bliss. The time came for the thread to be given to Nimai to wear. When the thread was placed across his golden body, everyone looked in amazement. Little Nimai looked even more beautiful with the sacred thread resting on his chest. "He was simply beautiful," Rabri said dreamily. Then something extraordinary happened after Nimai wore the sacred thread. Nimai showed his form as Vamanadeva to all the people at the ceremony. Vamana is the dwarf Brahmana incarnation of Vishnu, who appeared during Treta Yuga, some hundreds of thousands of years ago. Everyone who saw this amazing vision became fully joyful and danced and chanted in happiness. Rabri then stopped speaking and turned to Mali and asked, "I'm feeling quite hungry with all this talking. Would you mind if I quickly ate a couple carrots?" Mali chuckled at Rabri's request and agreed with a laugh. "Of course, dear Rabri." After offering a small carrot to little Mali, they sat together and quickly munched on their snack before Rabri continued with the pastime. After receiving the sacred thread to fit the role of a Brahmana, Nimai slung a cloth bag across his shoulder and took a stick in his hand. He then began begging for alms from the residents of Navadvipa, as was the tradition. All of his neighbors felt so much joy when Nimai sweetly asked them to put some food in his bag. The demigods from high up in heavenly planets came down to earth to give some alms to the charming Nimai. Everyone put a little grain or gave some dry food to Nimai, whether they were poor or rich. Being very content with what he had received, little Nimai smiled widely and returned home. Mali was even more shocked than last time. These pastimes just kept getting more enchanting, and the little mouse loved it. This incarnation called Vamana was something he had never heard before. He gave Rabri a hug and then went on his way over the hills to find a new friend who would tell him something more about charming Nimai. Vamanadev ki jai. Join us tomorrow to see what Mali the Mouse gets up to.